Hello and welcome to another conversation. Professor Freya Sullivan Huffman joins me in observance of National Women's History Month. She's an author, social justice advocate, sports lover, and entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Freya. How's it going?
It is growing great, Chris. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, look, having another homegirl on here, I'm talking about someone who I go way back with. I'm like crazy excited. I'm trying to keep myself composed.
Same here, same here. I'm just so excited to be here, and I've been following you for a while, and I love your content, and I'm just again excited to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll pay you later, okay? I got to
Mhm.
jump right into it. So, as you know, everyone knows it's National Women's History Month. And there were certain women in particular, obviously yourself included, that I really wanted to get on at some point. This month in particular, because it's kind of, in my view, kind of all encompassing, right? I look at you as a woman who's creating her own history, right? You're a front runner, you're up and out, you're doing big things, be it on the business side, your outreach, uh, just all of it. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because you are going to break down a lot of ins and outs with respect to that. But the first thing I want to know is just a little bit about Freya, just in general.
Okay. Well, again, thank you, Chris. Excited to be here. A little about me. I always take people back to Waynesboro. I say Waynesboro is the bird dog capital of the world. And that was on Jeopardy. So it's important that we made it to the national stage. But I am a little girl from Waynesboro, Georgia. And I feel that my background, my mom, is the one that really propelled me into who I am today. I am a mother. I'm a wife of Pastor Rod Huffman. He's the founder, we're the founder of Impact Nation Church. So I am an evangelist as well. But also, I have that marketplace ministry. I love ministry. I love helping people even in their business. And I evolved into that because I went through 4 layoffs. Surprisingly, I was able to get an internship with the Department of Energy, Savannah Riverside, majored in math and computer science, and earned a basketball college, scholarship to college. But I went through my very first layoff. And that is really how I became who I am today. That entrepreneurship just crept up in me because I had to find a way to still make a living. So, who I am, I love sports. I absolutely love sports. I did go to college on a basketball scholarship, ran track in high school with you, sir.
Yes.
I ran the hurdles, really didn't know what I was doing, but I ran the 440 relay, and we were pretty good as a team. And also just played softball too. So I love sports. Boston Celtics. I'm just going to say Boston Celtics, Pittsburgh
Boston Celtics.
Steelers, Atlanta Braves. Thank you
You
very
did,
much,
did
sir.
whoa, hold up. That's right. You did say Steelers, right?
Yes, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh boy,
I have
good.
an aunt from
Uh,
Waynesboro that moved to Pittsburgh, and they have a restaurant there called the Soul Food Connection. So that's how I fell in love with it. And that's been about 30 years ago.
oh, now that's a fun fact.
Uh-huh, it is. And
Okay.
now you have to love the Steelers because we have Waynesboro connection.
No, no, never. I know they say never, but no, never. No,
Missing out.
I live. I'm good enough with living about 3 hours or so from Pittsburgh. So I'll support them from afar. But I really mean afar because look, I'm a Ravens.
I can respect that. I can
Okay,
respect Ravens.
okay.
I have family there. We could do that.
I was wondering what you're gonna say about that Ravens thing. So I'm gonna take that and run with it. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ravens are okay. We like Lamar because we like Lamar.
So you mentioned your mom.
Yes.
You mentioned your mom. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I know your mom. I've been knowing your mom since I was a little kid,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and she was just one of. I mean, she's just a pillar of the entire town. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should call Waynesboro town.
Yes, you
You know
can.
what I mean. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. But
Mm-hmm.
is there anything you would like to expound upon with respect to your mom, who I know
Mm-hmm.
shoulders you are on to this day?
For sure. Chris, just recently, December 13th, we celebrated 45 years that she went to the higher court for a civil rights case for voting. She was that person that spoke up. So my sister and I had to go back and calculate. We had to be around 4 and 2 years old when she was doing that. So it was in her heart with Mr. Herman Lodge there in Waynesboro as well to help people to get registered to vote. So it's really in us. It's innate. The things that you see us doing now is a result of her voice. She's always spoken up for those that didn't have a voice. If people needed a ride to the polls, we would get in our little red two-door Nissan Sentra, scoop everyone up with our own gas and take them to the polls. She was a social worker as well. So whenever someone was in need, even though she had a job as a social worker, she took it to the community. And she would literally be that voice for people. If people needed to have paperwork filled out or learn how to write or get tutoring, she would be that person to help them. It was just in her heart. She was just made different, as we like to say nowadays. She's just cut from a different cloth. And it was her passion to help people to stand up for the voiceless, to also educate people on voters' education and voters' rights. When she saw injustice, she could not help it. She couldn't contain herself. She had to speak up. And so us growing up, that was part of us as well. She also made us do a lot of public speaking with the Optimist Club. We were little girls. Every time there was a Black History program, she would put us in it and we had to do it. So the things we're doing now, we laugh about it, but she was training us all along, but we didn't see it. We were like, why do we have to do all of this? And then now we're walking out our purpose because of her. And so about 5 years ago, she received an award from the governor of Georgia, Governor Deal, as a commendation for her work. And they call her Mother of the Community. That was the title that they gave her in that commendation from the governor, presented by Senator Stone and some other locals there in Waynesboro, Georgia. So those are the true shoulders that I stand on, again, because of her passion, because of her love for the community, the love for youth. She loved kids. Funny story, kids would come around and go trick-or-treating and knocking on the doors, and my mama, we would run out of candy. We were just going to run out. We were balling on a budget. But she would not let them leave. She would go in the cabinet and pull out canned goods and drop it in the bag. All of our friends in Magnolia Acres knows this story. She would put canned goods in the bag just to make sure that somebody left with something. So she made sure she took care of everybody. So yeah, my mom, those are the shoulders I stand on.
So as you laid a lot of that out, I can especially relate. Well, kind of piggybacking on what I said a minute ago about just remembering her out and about and what she was doing throughout any part of any community throughout Waynesboro. That's what I recall personally.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you sharing the tidbits about initially that history that she made, like, for her to literally be a part of that aspect of things. I mean, you kind of gave me chills when you were sharing it. And I do remember seeing that write up. I think either you or Kenya, I don't remember.
Probably both.
you shared it on Facebook or something like that, right?
I did just recently because it was the 45th year anniversary. And because of that, there's some things that we have in the works now to celebrate that. But she's the only living plaintiff. We have the document that shows that she's the plaintiff that, again, went to court because of voting rights and civil rights violations.
Wow. Now that stuff like that, you talk about chills. I'm just saying. Okay, let me move on before I totally change the subject into something else. But no, thanks for sharing that. Now, you touched on, after I mentioned your entrepreneurial endeavors. Freya, I see you all over the place. Freya Motivates, your motivational speeches in the morning. I see them a lot. I catch them a lot via Instagram. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, that's where I like to kind of house it.
Okay. I was about to say, at least that's where I see them. Okay, but that's where you primarily do it. So, okay, good. And it speaks for itself. Freya Motivates. To stay on topic, Women's History Month, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, there are several women that I know have, pushed you forward, motivated you, inspired you and the like. Do you want to expand on one or two of those young ladies?
Yeah, and let me just go way back because I really get my inspiration from my great great grandmother. We called her, hey, great 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 grandma. I'm serious, that was her name, Dear Heart Mac. And when she was coming up, she got hit in the head with a hatchet, sadly. And she had to, and you could see the dent in her head. She died when she was like 108 in Waynesboro. And she had to wrap her head up and keep going. But she reminded me so much of Harriet Tubman, and Harriet Tubman made so many trips from again down south using the Underground Railroad, and that was so important to me. I even wrote my own screenplay, Chris, on Harriet Tubman, and then somebody came out with a movie and I tabled it. But I was going through a layoff, and I was go to Starbucks every day and just write. And I was writing a scene or an episode of every one of her trips with my own imagination and the research I'd done. But she reminded me of my great great grandma. They had to tough it out and keep it going. And so that brings me to even Madam C.J. Walker, who had a gift, who had a talent, but became a millionaire because there was a need. There was a gap there, women's hair. Okay. Okay. So those are just, again, some older school, if you will, but historic people that I really look to seriously. And then nowadays, when I got to work for this wonderful company called AFLAC, and I get here and I see African American leaders, women. I've just never seen this before. I've seen diversity, but to be a president, to be a chief legal counsel. So I found that picture to show that they were highlighted in Black Enterprise and other places, in Essence magazine, so many catalogs and magazines. And that became my norm for 5 years, where you would see someone at the top that you had access to, and you thought to yourself, that's attainable. And they were in leadership, and they have the ear of CEOs of not Fortune 500, but a 200 company. That is amazing. Those are the shoulders I stand on. And when I made my recent transition from the company and I sent them an email, they were very warm and also encouraging, wishing me the best as I move into this global DE&I space. But again, being able to see people that look like me and that they are inclusive and they care about all people. They just happen to look like me, but they're great leaders for all people. And they have the ear of so many people, and also CEOs and organizations around the world want to be like them. That gives me inspiration that even the work that I'm doing, that I'm truly making a difference. And I've been created for certain things. And as we talked about my mom, and I talked about how she supported civil rights and social justice. And I believe that the role that I'm walking into now is a culmination of all of that, and being able to see success and know it's attainable. But there are many companies that still struggle with that type of diversity. Right. And there's so many opportunities for chief diversity officers and diversity leaders. They're just starting their journey. Even after everything that George Floyd, we saw with George Floyd, and even our home girl, Ahmaud Arbery's mom, Wanda Cooper, my classmate, companies are getting it, but they don't have the people to help them get there. And so my goal is to help us get there where we're all united. I do have that Martin Luther King spirit that, black, white, green, yellow, that we can all work together. We're getting there. We've done a lot, but we still have much to do, especially in the corporations as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm telling you, giving me those goosebumps again. I'm telling you, Freya, it's too late. I'm getting fired up over here now. No, seriously, with all seriousness, no. Yeah. Thanks for breaking that down, what you did, and the way you said it with respect to seeing those faces in those key decision-making positions, heading the company, heading the legal department. I mean, you talk about forget upper management. No, that's the head of the C-suite, right? The top of the C-suite, right? And so it's just amazing that first of all, kudos to you for even being in a position to be exposed to that type of leadership, being exposed to that type of diversity, equity, inclusion, and the list goes on and on. What do you feel are your most prized accomplishments 1, 2, 3, however many you want to.
Yeah. Um, the first one, Chris, is probably when I earned that basketball scholarship to college from high school. I was playing for fun and for sport. I did not have any offers. My mom didn't have the money for me to go to college. I was an AB student. I was in a beta club. I always say I graduated 25 out of 170 or 270, I forget, but I know the 70 was there. I didn't have college on my radar. I wanted to go in the Air Force. My uncle was in the Air Force. I used to see a plane going by when I was a little girl. And I said, that's Uncle Thomas. And I always wanted to go in the Air Force. This basketball thing came out of the blue, but it was my ticket. And I majored in math and computer science. I wanted to be an engineer. I was going to do 3 years at Claflin University. It was Claflin College at the time, and 2 at South Carolina State. And by the time I completed all my math classes at Claflin, I said, I don't want to go to state. I want to keep playing basketball. And because I had that scholarship, that was my ticket. And then I got that internship with Savannah Riverside. That was a blessing. God was just doing certain things in my life, and I didn't know it, but I knew it had to be his hand on my life. I have to go back to that foundation of those things. My mom supported me when I had my daughter, and I was not done with college. And she said, you go back to school because I'm going to keep her, because she knew the importance of me getting that education and having those internships and co-ops. And then I applied to Clemson University. I couldn't get in initially. I had to write a letter. I always tell people, write a letter. I had to write a letter for several things in my life, important life changing decisions. But the writer, Chris, you're the writer, that pen has power. I can talk all day, but if I give you time to read it and absorb it, you're going to take it and translate it a different way. And so when I did that, again, God restored me. My mom helped me during that process to make sure I was able to take care of my daughter, still go to school, come home on the weekend, still have an internship, still travel and play basketball. While in college, I thank God for his restoration. I ran for Miss Homecoming and I won. And then I ran for Miss Asbury Hall, one of our dorms, and won. And then I ran for Miss Claflin University. It was Miss Claflin College. I was an HBCU queen. I had run against several people, and I got about 95% of the votes. And it wasn't because of my talent. It was just my personality. But God was showing me was that at a young age, he was restoring me, that you can go through life and you can make certain decisions. But when you humble yourself, and you know, I'm an evangelist as well. The preacher gonna come out, but he will restore you when you turn your heart to him. So I share those things because I praise God for who I am and the things I've done, but I believe those other things build character. And God was building character in me all throughout the years. And again, having a strong support system with my mom. I remember when I was getting ready to go to college, my sister, we were living in Virginia. We moved to Virginia. My stepdad was in the military, and we moved from Waynesboro. That was hard. All we knew was Waynesboro. Right, so we moved to Virginia. And for the summer, and I was getting ready to go to Claflin. And my sister had saved up a bunch of change, like a bag full of change. And she says, Freya, I got some for you. I said, okay. I was getting ready to go to college. She said, I've been saving this for you the whole summer. Now, I keep telling you, we've been balling on a budget. She had saved every piece of silver coin, and it was over $100 and something to give and seed to me as a young lady. She was just saving it up over the summer. Yes, she was the only one that could get a job on base at the time. I was trying my best to get a job on base, and she was working for NCO washing dishes. But my sister seeded it to me. I was on a basketball scholarship, but she gave me that. And I always tell that story because we've always been two peas in a pod. But I tell you, so Virginia was a game changer for us. And when I came back home, when I had my daughter and I came back home, I honestly thought I was going to go into the military. Okay. And then I wrote a letter. Remember I told you about I wrote a letter? This was really my first letter. Clemson was my second letter when I wrote the letter to Coach. Mama said, write Coach and ask him, can you get back in college? I said, no, I already had a child. He's not going to let me. And I said, I'm going to go in the military. She said, and my mama talks like this, girl, write Coach. And once she says that, you don't say anything else. You say, yes, ma'am. You keep it moving. Exactly. I wrote Coach. And when I wrote him, he called me, and they called me Freya. Like all of my coaches, high school, college, everybody calls me Freya. Even my softball coach in Waynesboro, Willie Dukes, call me Freya. So everybody says Freya, but my name is Freya. But it's all good. So he says, Freya, yeah, I still got your scholarship. You can come back. Huh? God showed me grace. I was 18 years old. I couldn't believe it. I said, Lord, according to the world, I've messed up. I should not get the second chance. I should be going out there now, hustling, working, getting in the military, or going to work this job, minimum wage, and I need to suffer. I need to suffer because I did this. And no, God restored me. Mama said, I'm going to keep the baby. You go back to school. And that's my daughter, who I prize now. Her birthday's coming up. She's my Women's History Month gift. But I tell you, God did the miraculous. So that really changed my faith. And it did something to my self-esteem, where I went back and I ran for those queens and I won. But it was an internal thing for me that God has given you grace and restoration. So even as adults, we have to make sure that, no matter how far we think we get it, we messed up. When we turn our heart to God, right, it doesn't matter what the world says. The way he restores you is out of this world. I have gone through some things in life. I have, sadly gone through a divorce, and, I'm remarried. I praise God. And people look at this new marriage and all the blessings there. But I posted something on Facebook the other day, and it was, if you look at the blessing that you see someone that they just got, and you look at the magnitude of that blessing, that lets you know the turmoil that someone may have gone through in the background. So don't hate on the blessing, because you don't want to walk the walk that they had to walk. So celebrate them now, because again, it was heavy. That, Lord, I thank you. And I thank you for what you're doing in my life. And I thank you for the fruitfulness. And I thank you for how you are doing what you're doing. But and I know, God, how we had to walk this out together. And when my faith faltered, and when I had to get up and try it again. That's one of my mom's biggest saying. Mom, I fell down. I hurt myself on the bike. Get up and try it again. She would literally be sitting over there and say, get up and try it again. I'm not, and that was her thing. Mom, I failed physics. It was hard. Physics too. Try it again. And that's how I got my math degree. So her whole thing was get up and try it again. So I tell people often, I have fallen, flipped, fallen over. Literally, Chris, I lost my cool points in middle school. Late to junior high, I got a bunch of lost cool points story. Okay. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I was thinking about. I was standing on the bench, like the little risers outside, and I literally walked off the bench and fell on my face, and everybody saw it. I lost my cool points. So that's a literal fall, but I have some other spiritual falls as well. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about. I was the one walking down the hall in high school, and I would be dropping my papers and books, and everybody got to stop and help me put them all together because I wasn't organized. I am now. I am a long way. It was an evolution. People saw something in me. Everybody who stopped and helped me pick up all my things in the hall. I said, that girl got potential.
There are a lot of analogies that could be gleaned from what you just conveyed, and I'll share some things with you offline.
Yes, sir.
But I thank you for your obedience just then, because a couple things were made very clear. I'll leave it at that.
Amen.
So you touched on a few things a second ago. In terms of how should I put it? Well, okay, here's the thing. I said this before. I'm gonna say it again. You are living history, right? That's just how I look at people in general. But specifically you, Freya, you are living history. I'm curious though, how do you want to be remembered? What story do you want to have told, or do you want your life to have told?
I started Freya Motivates literally to motivate people to walk out their purpose, to find it and walk it out. Don't wait for permission from someone else to do what God has called you to do. People will talk you out of your dream because they're comfortable keeping you in their box. And so when I started Freya Motivates, it was to, number one, tell you the truth, motivate myself. The Bible tells us to encourage ourselves in the Lord. So I had to start encouraging myself. I was going through a challenging time on a particular job. And every time I go in, this leader just did not care for me. Everything I tried to do with my smile, pizzazz, engagement. She just hated it even the more. So I started doing those 60-second videos and uploading them to Instagram. I chose Instagram because I didn't want to put it on Facebook because I was not comfortable. I was like, nobody knows me on Instagram. And I did not choose to automatically let everyone follow me from Facebook to Instagram. If people found me, they stumbled upon me. It was intentional. And I still don't have it set up like that. It's just people who are joining find me. Right. And my legacy, I want people to say, I believe in me. I was created to do something. I was put on this earth on purpose, with a purpose, to fulfill a purpose. I'm going to connect myself with positive people to get it done. I'm going to forgive myself. And I'm going to use my gifts and talents to impact the world and to glorify God. And also that I'm a mother. I love being a mom. I love being a grandma. My life is just revolved around my children. They keep me busy. I probably get on their nerves, but I love them all. And I love my grandkids. They make me feel so special. Also, I want to be remembered as a great wife to my husband. I praise God for him and his support and how he helps me. A good sister, a good daughter, those things, a good friend. We can show ourselves friendly. Doesn't mean that others will receive it that way. I've had to learn to walk this journey alone, because when I've gone outside of the box of the norm that people know me as, it's been a lonely walk. I've had to learn to be faithful in posting my own content, Chris, even when others that I thought I would get support from would like it or support it. Like I had to separate it. They're like, okay, that's friend Freya, but that Freya motivates Freya. Nah. So I had to learn how to separate the two and understand that it's not personal. They like the Freya, but not the Freya motivates. Freya motivates is for a different audience.
Right.
We have gifts and talents. There are things we should be doing. We should be pouring out. Those of us who've been called to do things like you. So we can't sit on the sidelines. But I'm big on friendships. I like hanging out with friends and doing things with friends. I don't get a lot of invitations anymore, but it's okay. You know, I have to be intentional about doing the reaching out myself. Right. I really had to get okay with that because it felt kind of lonely for a minute. I'm like, Lord, I'm going on this journey. Freya Motivates. So this is like important to me. I have to pour this out. I have to get this out. I have to encourage others. There are many other things I want to do in life. There are things I want to, there are more books to write. Okay, I'm slacking on that. I have my book that I'll be writing, that I'm in the process of writing for the last few years, called Bouncing Back from a Layoff. It's a basketball analogy.
Okay.
How to help people go through layoffs, but bounce back in life.
I like that. Yeah.
Other books. I like politics. I love politics. I love, I have a couple of books in mind about political thrillers, and it's something that my mom, my daughter, and I talked about, and we talked about it at my mom's house a few years ago. We got the whole storyline, and we're like, put this in there. That's what we do when we get together. Do that. We're creatives. But I love politics, and I love storytelling. When I post a picture, I could just post it, but I really like to tell the story and encourage people, and it just starts to flow. You know, it's a selfie. And a lot of times I'll just tell my husband, we're on a trip, take a picture. We'll save it. And when it's time for me to post it, I have the story to go with it. But I pre-take pictures for the future story that I'm going to put with it. So I want to be known as a storyteller. I want to be known as a motivator. I want to be known as a transformer, a game changer, a life changer. When I was going to the prison ministry, when I was at my home church in Waynesboro, Deliverance, I love it. When the women would get out, they would say, I need to find that lady. I used to have them laughing, making them not think about their life and what they were going through. I want to be known as one who, when people come into my presence, they feel good about themselves. They now believe in themselves. Mm-hmm. They have the tools. They're equipped to get it done, and they're not letting doubt, fear, or haters or doubters stop them from doing what God has called them to do.
That's good. For those, I should put it, just simply put, those aspiring entrepreneurs, right? Yeah. Just from a motivational standpoint, what simply put, what words would you impart to him or her to venture out there, and if they have ventured out there and hitting a roadblock or whatever, to keep going? What would you say?
Yeah, that's one of my audiences that I also motivate, which you probably picked that up as well. When I came out of college, Chris, I double majored in math and computer science. Sounds like a fabulous degree. And Savannah Riverside took us through a layoff. They say you're the first one, last one hired, you're the first one fired. Okay. So I started tutoring in Waynesboro, $25 an hour. And I was like, if I do 4 25s, I'm going to have 100. So I always had this entrepreneurship mindset. When I was in high school, I would sell Snicker bars for $1, just hustling young. Okay. Bought it for a quarter, sell it for $1. We stay hungry. And so it was in me. My dad was an entrepreneur. He did sheetrock. People said all he did was kept his stuff in his bag, and he had 2 stilts he got on, and everything he needed was there, and he was one of the best. Robert Sullivan. Shout out to my dad. He's in heaven.
All right.
So I think that's the innate, it was in me. Like I always saw things like, how can we can generate money from that. You can create a product or service. So right now, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to grow your business, whatever, speaking, writing, you need to get a product. Now, Chris, I'm a techie, so I have learned marketing. I've learned how to create things such as sales funnels and tech integrations, email integrations, automated webinars, things like that. But you are a creator. You can't help it. You got to hang out with other creatives. And so if you have a product or a prototype, you need to get around other people that are like that. And you can't even share all of your knowledge with others and your desires, because people are going to look at you and say, okay. So what you have to do is start to sketch. Get your workbook, get your notebook. And Chris, I do have a journal dropping soon. It is a 30-day journal called Stop Playing with Your Dreams, basically, and Living Out Your Purpose. But I've been hanging on it to it for a moment because I keep adding people. So I'll be reaching out to you. Okay. But it's a motivational journal. But I want people to be serious about their product or service, whatever it is. If you're creating something from scratch, we should be marketplace people. Open up your Shopify store. I'm about to give you a 2-minute tutorial right here. Open up your Shopify store. Get you some products that you can drop ship. Create your labeling, your name. You don't have to carry inventory. Create your t-shirts, your hats. We're working on things right now with my sons. I'm making them open up a store for their socks, hats, t-shirts, hoodies. You can book bags, iPad covers. Open up your store and do that. Link it to another integrated package that you can do. Also, with that, create your sales funnel. When someone comes to your page, it's a static website. That's it. Okay. But you should be collecting email addresses. Every time somebody comes, get that email address. Then when you come up with your bright idea, in between, you're going to be dropping your blog every month. Hey, here to motivate you. I sell shoes, but I'm going to motivate you about something else. I sell t-shirts. Oh, I sell insurance, whatever. But you're going to drop and motivate them in the meantime. So when your bright idea comes and you're ready to launch your product, you already warmed them up.
That's right.
And then now you're saying, hey, here's a product. I want to get your feedback. And then don't give up on your dreams. Find someone to help you package it. There's so many cool things you can do. If you know you just want to have a side business, because I've gone through 4 layoffs, so my mentality is different. I'm going to always have a business. Right now, I have the course design agency where I help people coaches launch their own courses and training materials. I have Rebrand My Career. I'm a career coach, so I help people rebrand and create resumes and find better jobs. I have literally helped people upgrade their jobs and their income by the way I write the resume. What can you do? Do an inventory on yourself. What do you like? What are people coming to you saying, you're good at that. Can you show me how to do that? As soon as they say that you are good at that and that is your business. Then what you're going to do is start to jot it down. Then you're going to start to say, what would I charge for this? I simply put out a survey on Facebook that said, okay, what would you like to see in a career coaching program? Because I developed my own career coaching app. They gave me stuff and they filled it out. I said, do me a favor and fill it out. And they did it. I created my product based on what the people wanted, not just what I wanted to give them. So I need us to think about entrepreneurship. I need us to be the Madam C.J. Walkers. I need us to use our gifts and talents to not give up. Even if you fail, Chris, I had a brick and mortar building in Augusta, Georgia, downtown A Street. Okay. $400 a month building. Okay. Should have been able to afford it, but really couldn't. So my son and I, he's my 4.5 son that plays basketball, the youngest of the bunch. Right, he was little. We would go and buy hot dogs by this James Brown statue every day, because I wasn't making money at the technology factory. That's where I started. because I couldn't market it right. It was kind of old school marketing. I did radio ads and I did things like that. But in the world of social media, there is no excuse why you should not be out there marketing. Get your link tree set up on your Instagram, your little link, and have your multiple links there. Or now I'm using Milkshake because it's cooler, it's nicer, nice design. Put your link up there. Put your product, what you're selling, and be bold about what you're selling. Don't be timid like, oh, like I have a client who put a journal out. Hey, here's my journal if you want it. Nope, you're not confident enough. No. I need to say, here's my journal. Here's the 21-day guide to do this. God has blessed me with a client in Egypt to develop her course for her youth in her country. Okay, you got to show up in the right places too. You got to know what platforms be on. I developed a course for a Soul Train music producer. Someone referred them. I'm still baffled. Yeah, heavy hitter. You have to go to my Instagram. But yeah, Soul Train, I was referred, developed his course. He does it in Trinidad, and he wanted to create a course out of it too as well. So I had to take it, convert it, create the workbook, all of that. Really? For a teacher, for a diversity author, course design agency has a list of those things, .com. But show up. So I had to find my niche. I'm like, I like helping people, like really. And so whatever you think that it is, Chris, you're a writer. Teach people to write. Help us to find our inner muse. Okay. Hold some sessions, for example, whatever that it is. But really, life writer, we need a mug. I need a mug. So when I'm writing, I'm inspired. I need my pens. Where's my pen? I need my mug. I need my pen. Oh, and by the way, one of my clients I'm working with right now, I'll be dropping her soon. Again, a referral. I get a lot of referrals. I'm helping her with her tea line. I know nothing about tea, but what I do know is how to create her labels. And she gets the adhesive printout and she puts it on the tea. She's drop shipping it. And we're coming up with her blog, giving you the tea. I came up with so many words with the word tea is so creative. You see what I mean? She does mental health, but she wanted tea. So we're linking the two together and we're coming up with her whole tea line. And I've designed all of her, again, her labeling for her tea and just helping her with her Instagram content. I've created her social media campaign because I create social media campaigns. I create courses. Do you see where I'm going?
Yes.
I go where my strengths are. And I tell people, let's use cheap and free tools. I'm going to give you the free and the cheap. But whatever it is, find something, a product or service, and generate income for your future generations, for your kids. I'm forcing my children to do this. I've sold Mary Kay because I just like the particular lipstick, Downtown Brown. But what I liked about it was the business side. You needed 15 people to become a director. I had 14. And then I had my son and I got tired and I was like, I can't do it. I'm done with that. I'll try anything. I did the Excel telephone and the LCI when it first came out back in the day.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
But my thing is find a business. If you can't find one, there are businesses that you can get set up. I teach people how to set up their sales funnels and go get a product that's already out there that's white label and you translate it to your own and you market it. So you don't have to be the expert, but there's something you can sell. If you do eyebrows good, show everybody you're the best eyebrow maker and make videos on eyebrows and create your reel and put some music to it and go before and after. I was Wolfman Jack before and now look what I've done. Everybody's got a talent. Seriously. I'm passionate about this, but that's what Freya Motivates is about. Motivating you in business, motivating you in ministry, motivating you on your job, motivating you to have a voice in the community. That's what it's about.
And see, and everyone, there it is, right there. Freya Motivates, and I'm telling you, you have just motivated the heck out of me.
I want my pen.
I'm gonna get your pen and the T-shirt and some other.
I want it.
We'll talk about all that later.
Yes,
all right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, but seriously, Freya, you have blessed the platform with your presence. I mean, the nuggets that you just dropped, I know it's going to resonate with tons of people. It hit me in multiple places while I was off camera just then. I'm over here like, oh, my shoulders were ripped. I'm like, okay, Chris, all right, compose yourself. Come back. No, this has been awesome. Perfect information. When I try to do, you said you've been following me. I emphasize inspiration, and just information. You know,
Yeah,
you gotta inform people, you got to inspire people, give them the information.
that's
And when you
good.
give them the information, kind of to your points, now you got to, yeah, move yourself. You know, if you can't inspire yourself,
Hmm.
via the information you have and believe in whatever it is you're selling, be it a product, a service, if you're rendering or what have you. I mean, how are you going to push and sell that to anyone else? So the way you laid that out towards the end, you got to first believe in it yourself and push it
Gotta
and
push it. And Chris,
find
I
other
just came
ways.
back from Disney, so I'm kind of feeling magical. I'm kind of feeling inspired. But my fourth year presenting at Training Magazine on the topic of virtual training. This
Yes.
is a skill I gained. All you have to do is submit a proposal. I tell people, find the organization that's interested in what you're doing to be a conference speaker. I didn't get paid for it, but that's okay. I don't, but that's building my brand. Find the free way to build your brand. I tell people, but I get to say Training Magazine, Disney, and I presented at Tech Learn in New Orleans. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
We are going to show up. We're going to show up with the group that needs to hear from us.
Wow.
And I know God is going to lead me to create those corporate America motivational books. That's something I want to be remembered by. It's coming, but I tell you, I appreciate you having me on the platform because you've gotten me inspired. When I see Life Writer, I was like, I need to get writing. I need to get to writing. I
Yes.
do. I'm an absorber of content. So when you put out the information, I absorb it. That's important to me. I'm like, that's good. And I'll try to let you know that's good right there, bro. Oh,
Yes.
that's fire. Because that's important to me. Because your voice is necessary, it's needed. What you're doing, your presence, what you're doing, and how you're inspiring, and I appreciate you as well. So again, thank you for having me. But likewise, you're inspiring and motivating me and many others as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, my sister. And like I said at the beginning, I'll pay you later, okay?
Free.
Freya, thank you so much. Look, everyone, Freya Sullivan Huffman. In the flesh, you heard it here. That's why I was so eager to bring her on. It's just her wisdom, her experience, things that she shared, she's overcome or what have equipped her with some tools that are just out of this world. And I just absolutely love it. I had to have her on this platform, and I'm so glad she came on. So, in saying that, thank you guys for continuing to support lifewriting.com. As I always say, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks again for supporting lifewriting.com, where writing speaks.